Hi, and welcome to The Silver Lining. Now, before I explain what it's all about, I have to tell you a little bit about, some medical history first. It was about 4 years ago now that I went to the eye clinic because I was having some trouble with my sight. She examined me, took some pictures of the nerves of my eyes, and she saw that something was wrong. So she sent me to a neurologist. I went to the neurologist. He started testing me for several things. I had shocks in my head and they measured direction in my toes. Then I had shocks in my toes and they measured direction in my head. I had a bunch of MRI scans. Took my blood, did a lot of testing, and after I think it was about 6 months of testing, they were finally gonna tell me what I had. Because all the guys that did the tests, they couldn't say anything. I always saw the look on their face when they saw the results, like, uh-oh. But I kept asking them, what is it? Do you have an idea? What could it be? But they always said, we can't say anything. This is just one test. You'll have to wait until you see the neurologist. So after 6 months, I finally went to the neurologist. So, I didn't actually go to the neurologist. I went to an assistant who still didn't know what it was, but he said, I'm going to confer with the neurologist and he'll know what it is, and I'll be back in 15 minutes and I'll tell you what it is. So those 15 minutes felt like a few hours, and he finally came in. He opened the door and, without hesitating, or he just said, Ronald, you're multiple sclerosis. I thought, what the fuck? Multiple sclerosis? What is that? Well, it's a serious disease. So, what is it? Well, I'll tell you right away. So, MS, multiple sclerosis. What is it? Well, I'm not going to get too technical, but it's an autoimmune disease where the nervous system in your body gets attacked. There's something, a little fabric around your nerves that's called myelin, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that deteriorates when you have an episode. And then, for instance, once I lost sight in my right eye. It took about a month until I started seeing again, and now it's a lot better. Difficult one was once I lost the taste in my tongue. So I could eat what I want, I didn't taste anything anymore. So that was a really difficult one. I think it's really hard to live without taste, but also that came back. And that's because I have RRMS, it means relapsing remitting MS. So I have an episode, stuff gets damaged, and then after some time it gets better again, but it never gets like it was. How do you see that you have MS? Well, you have to take a brain scan to see that. So here's a scan of my brain. My brain is quite big. And if you take a scan and you have MS, you see these little white dots on your scan, these little lesions. So you can see I have quite a few, and actually they're quite alright. The place where they are and stuff like that, I don't have a lot of problems with those ones, but you also get them in your spine and in your brainstem. And in my brainstem I have a pretty big one. It's about it's 6 millimeters, and your brainstem is only 14 millimeters wide, so that's a bad one, and that's the one that gives me the most trouble. What trouble is that? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. So, what are some of these problems that I'm having? Well, it might seem a small problem, the first one, but when I pee, it goes something like this. shouldn't have called it a small problem. Damn it. But you know what I mean. I pee like an 8-year-old, and that's no problem when you're alone at home. But when you go to a restaurant and you go to a urinal and you stand there peeing like that, people look at you funny. Ach yeah. Another one is balance. If I try to stand on one leg, it goes something like this. Well, I can't stand on one leg, and that's, again, that's not really a problem. Only if the cops would pull me over and they say walk in a straight line, that would be a problem, but I can live with that. Another thing is that I'm very forgetful. I forget a lot of stuff, and mostly there are small things, like I go to the store but I don't have my wallet, but then you can come back home. Sometimes I'm just scared I'm gonna forget to pick my kids up from school. I have 2 beautiful little girls, and that sometimes frightens me a little, that I'll just forget about it. It hasn't happened yet, so hopefully it won't get worse. But the biggest problem, without a doubt, is that I'm tired, like always. In the morning I get up, I have a really tough time getting, starting the day. And luckily I have my 2 girls, because, they make me, well, I have to start functioning. It's really hard. Once they're at school, most of the times I'm just beat. I come home and I have to sleep for a few hours. But that's without a doubt the hardest thing. I can't go out anymore. If I go out, I have to prepare it, and I have to sleep a lot in the day, and then I can go out once. But I don't go out much anymore, and that's a bit sad, because I have no social life. My world is this little house. But I have my 3 beautiful women in here, my 2 girls and my girlfriend, so it's not a bad place to be all the time. And then there's one more problem that's also a tricky one. Whenever my body temperature rises, like when I take a hot shower, when I eat soup, when I do anything physical, my eyes, they get all blurry, like this. You see? And that's hard. Because I used to ride my bike a lot, but now when I go riding my bike, well, I can't see much. So now I have to do it like this. Sure, I have a nice view, but it's not the same. So, now you know a little bit about the dark side of this condition, but is there an upside too? Well, that's where the silver lining comes in. What is it? The silver lining, it's kind of a psychological experiment I want to do. Instead of thinking about, oh man, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore, I'm tired, I can't work. I'm gonna start thinking about what are the things I can do that I couldn't do before. And I'm sure there are many things that I can do now that I couldn't do before. So I think about looking for those things. I think my mind will get a lot more positive, and I think it'll have a positive effect on the disease too. I'm not sure if it will, but I believe that. So the silver lining is really a search for all the nice side effects of being ill, all the things that I can do now that I couldn't have done before. So that's what it's all about. And why do I post it on YouTube? No, it's just to give myself an incentive to keep doing it. Because, it's easy to say, yeah, you have to be more positive, think positive, but, who does that? Think positive all the time. But by making these little movies, I kind of have to. I kind of give myself a real incentive to keep searching for the silver lining of this disease. And we'll see what happens. A second reason, and maybe the most important one, is I want to make it for my 2 beautiful little girls. For the moment, they're 2 years and 4 years old, so they're still very young, so they don't know yet that something is wrong with me. And I don't know how my health will evolve in time. I don't want to be all dramatic, but you never know what happens. If you have an episode in the wrong place in your body, you can lose sight or the ability to walk or stuff like that. So I don't know how I will be in 10 years. But I want them to see that, well, the person that I was. So yeah, I think maybe that's the biggest reason why I'm doing this. And hopefully they'll think, man, our dad was cool. So, the silver lining of today is, well, the fact that I have a lot of time to do stupid things like arranging socks. We have like about 7 million single socks. And I'm kind of tired. I go to the doctor a lot. And if I undress and look like this, they always look at me like I'm weird or something. I thought it was a universal problem, but who knows. So today I'm ending this problem and I arrange socks. So I promise next time I'll be a lot more interesting than arranging socks, but the filming and everything made me kind of tired. So I hope you will watch me next time. If you know people who are in the same situation, send the link to them, because the more people who will follow me, the more I'll be motivated to keep doing this. And if not, in 10 years, I'll show this to my daughters and they'll be ashamed of me because they'll be in puberty, but I don't care. See you again. Ciao, ciao.